Hey guys, what I have here today, I noticed that my weakness is rifle. I mean, I'm pretty good at rifle, but that's my weakness. So I'm gonna practice that today. And what I have set up downrange is LCR. And I started thinking about it. I was like, when you have a target that's supposed to be 8x8 pieces of steel, we can't shoot steel here. So what I'm going to have is 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper downrange. And even though it's not exact, that's not the purpose of today's drill. Today's drill is to do a different technique so I can get better, accurate shots on target. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to zero or confirm zero at 50 yards. After that zero is confirmed, I'm going to move my elevation and my windage dial 2 mils. That's going to move my point of impact 3.6 inches because we're at 50 yards. If I was at 100 yards, it only would take 1 mil, but I'm at 50 yards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare aiming at the bottom left-hand corner of the piece of paper versus having my dials on zero and aiming in the center of the paper. I'm going to see how accurate it is, if it's more accurate, and I'm going to see the time it takes me to get that accuracy. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. You guys check it out. Okay, like I said, I'm going to zero first, and then we're going to go and do some other stuff. So I actually got my 150-pound bag here. Is it overkill? Sure, but it's certainly a stable position. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure I'm on zero. Good. Take my chamber flag out. And load. I got 10 rounds. I don't know if I'll use them all, but I got 10 rounds. So if you didn't notice on scopes, there could be a fast focus eye ring here. And then there's also a parallax adjustment on the side on some scopes. On this right on 7 Conquer, 3 to 24 by 56, there's definitely that. So what you want to do is you want to use these things in conjunction with one another to make sure your target's clear and your reticle is clear, okay? So I'm turning this, and what happens is that the target then becomes blurry. If I turn this, the reticle becomes blurry. So I want to make sure that I turn this for the reticle and turn this so the target is completely clear. And what's happening is that our eyes can only focus on one thing at a time. So the scope allows our reticle and our target to seem as if they're on the same plane, if that makes sense. So if they weren't on the same plane, you can only focus on one thing at a time when they're at different distances. So here we go. Most certainly on. I can see it. I didn't need to shoot that many times, but why not? So the next thing I want to do is, now I'll show you the target downrange here in a little bit. But the next thing I'm going to do is I have triangles down there. And on the zero, or the confirmation of zero, I was actually aiming at the top triangle at the very bottom point. Now what I'm going to do is, because here's the theory, I'm going to do the zero again. And those are 3-inch triangles. So I want to move my point of impact right and up by about 1.5 inches. So right 1.5 inches, up 1.5 inches, which is going to be about 0.8 mils at 50 yards. Okay. Again, if we were at 100 yards, 1 mil is 3.6. So if we back that out, 1.8 is at 50 yards is 1 mil. So about 0.8 mils right and up. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want to aim at the bottom left corner of my triangle, but I want to hit the center of the triangle. Okay, so point of aim, point of impact are going to be completely different, but I'm doing this on purpose for a reason. So 0.8 clicks up and 0.8 clicks to the right. And there it is. I'll just grab a couple rounds here, and we are going to be ready to go. I used a Hornady 75 grain Bowtail hollow points. So what I'm doing here I like to do consistently. Now, when I go into actual LCR, when I actually do the drill, I'm going to be using 55 grain just because I'll be shooting a bunch of them, and these things are expensive. So remember, I went up and I went right 0.8 mils. It should move me about an inch and a half, both up and right. And I did that on purpose. I am at the bottom left-hand corner of the triangle, of the bottom triangle. Okay? And I want my point of impact to be the center of the triangle. It definitely moved it right, definitely moved it up. I think I would probably have to go right a little bit more because we are looking at on the left edge of the left slant, if that makes sense. So I'd have to go right just a little bit more. I think probably 4 clicks will do it. And that is absolutely perfect. So the idea here is that instead of aiming in the middle of the triangle where there's no aiming reference, I use one of the points. But then I would have to adjust my scope so that my point of impact is actually in the center of the triangle. The reason why I'm doing that is because of target acquisition. If I have something to aim at versus having some kind of void in space, let's say, you're going to be, in my theory, you're going to be a little bit more accurate, especially if you're going quick and fast, or try to go quick and fast. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move it more. I'm going to go 2 mils right, 2 mils up in elevation. And the reason why I'm doing that is that the 8-inch square that you would have to shoot for return to center, and a lot of the other events you would have to do in the tactical games, they're 8-inch by 8-inch plates. So I want to be right in the center of the plate, and a 2 mil deviation will give me about 3.6 inches right and up. I could go about, I think actually I'll go 1.2 and 2.2 and 2.2. That's going to give me that little extra hump because 2 mils only moves at 3.6 inches at 50 yards. So I'll go 2.2 and in each direction. On this one, I'm going to be shooting that 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then I will actually go and measure my shot group while I'm stable, and then I'll do the turn to center drill on each one of these targets, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. All right, moved it just fine. So the right on scope is tracking great. If I could measure this real quick, it looks to be almost exactly 2.2 mils up and right. So that's awesome. All right, guys, let me explain what I just did on these targets here. The first thing I did is confirm 0, which is this. So I was aiming here, point aim, point impact. This is what I wanted. The second thing I did is I moved 0.8 right and 0.8 up. And then I was hitting here. Point of aim here, hitting here. And then I moved another 4 to the right. And that gave me the center of this triangle. So the idea here is if I really want to be accurate, point of aim here, point of impact here. And that's exactly what happened. So if I really want to be accurate, I need something I think would be best to have some kind of point aim. Whereas if I'm just aiming right here in the triangle in this void here, then there's nothing to really aim at. So that's why I want to use either the left or the right, probably the left corner. The same thing would be true over here. However, I can't go down because of my zero stop, and I don't want to. So what I'll end up doing for these targets, if there's just one point in the bottom, is no elevation, or excuse me, no windage adjustment. I'll just come up 0.8 and aim at the bottom target. This is pretty damn good. Now, if this was an 8-inch square, from here to there, 8 inches would be right about here. So, as you can see, if I made a line, that would be about 8 inches, okay? And that's pretty much right dead in the center where we want to be. Now, if I measure from here to here, that's 4 inches. You can see that right there from the edge. And then also up is another 4 inches. A little more than 4 inches. It's okay. But you can see that right there. So the scope is tracking just fine, which is awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace these targets, and I'm going to do the LCR drill by using the bottom left point of aim. I'm going to time myself to see what I can do, and then what I'll do is I'll do it again, but this time I'll adjust my settings back, and I'll use the middle of these squares instead of the bottom left. Okay, like I had said before, we're going to do the LCR. And what that means is that we're going to go in the center, return to center, not LCR. I don't know why I keep saying LCR. But we're going to go return to center on this. And what happens here is that you're going to shoot the center target and you're going to work inside out. So it's going to be center, right, first right, center, first left, center, second right, center, second left, center, third right, center, third left, then back to center. And that completes the course of fire. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That'll be 13 shots total. And the idea here is I want to aim at that bottom left-hand corner because I have it dialed in correctly. And I'm going to see how accurate I'm going to be at the bottom left-hand corner versus aiming in the void of the center. Now on this, I'm going to be using 55 grain. I like to use that 75 grain. But again, ammo is expensive and I'm just getting the drills in. At 50 yards, it shouldn't matter all that much. But it's going to definitely give us a good matrix on what the two different techniques produce. I'm going to do this under time. I'm also going to tell you what my zoom is going to be. I think my zoom is going to be 3.5, maybe 4. You know, when I did the tactical game skirmish just here recently, I think I did it on 4, but I missed at least one of the targets. I can't remember. I ended up getting a 57-second run on that. So the return to center is you rifle. After your rifle's done, you clear your rifle and you run up and you do pistol. I wasted a lot of time trying to confirm my sights on target. I want to be able to do this quickly and not have to really confirm my sights on target, if that makes sense. As long as my reticle's somewhere near that bottom left corner, I'm going to squeeze the trigger. I'm going to set this catch stroke up for delay. I'll do a random delay. And then this is cold. Like I haven't done this yet. So I'm doing a random delay. So I'm going to start delay of 4 seconds, 4.8 seconds, and a random delay of anywhere from 4.8 to 7.4. And the buzzer is high. That gives me enough time to get ready. Okay, 18.55. It kind of got lost in my sequence. I was on 3.5, and it did seem to be just enough for me to do what I needed to do. Okay, so let's check out and see what I did. I should have at least one in each target. And let's remember that 8 inches is roughly right about here. So all these would have hit 2, 3, 4, 5. That one would have hit. 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 And that one would have hit. Okay, so there's at least one in each. And then for this one, it should have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have had 7 in here. I should have had 7 in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5. All right, and I did get lost on my sequence, so we'll see what's up. I'm going to replace this one, and I'm going to mark these instead, so I don't waste paper. But I will replace that one. Oh, by the way, Super 77 glue, Home Depot or Walmart or whatever, it is awesome. Okay. Then I'm also going to mark about the 8-inch mark. It's going to be right about here on each. And again, this isn't exact, of course. Now, that last one was 1855. If I want to be even close to the top on the stage, I would have to speed up. 1855, then I have to clear the gun, then I have to run up to the pistol portion, and then shoot the pistol portion. So that eats up a lot of time. So I need to speed up. I need to be able to speed up. I'm gonna do the same thing, low ready, and I'm gonna try to beat my time and also make sure I get those 2 hits in the middle, right? So I should have 7 hits. That's 1649. Again, I got lost a little bit in my sequence, 1649. So got a hit over here. This is barely hit. Probably could have been a miss. Here's a hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. This is I must have, yeah, right here. Again, barely hit, if it was a hit at all. Because I'm trying to go fast here. Now, hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. I am missing right here and here. So I need to go, confirm a little bit more than I have been. Okay, like I said already, we're back to 0 elevation, 0 windage. We're going to run this again. I'm getting better at my sequence. That was 1261. I had a couple misses. The thing about it is, if this was steel, I would know I had a miss and I could make up the shot. Considering that 1261 probably would have turned into a 14-second, something like that, because I would have to make up that shot. You can't move on to the next one until you hit. But again, we're working on a sequence and we're testing some theories here. Same magnification, same low ready, same everything, same ammunition. The only thing I'm changing is I'm point aim, point impact in the center. 0, 0, 1135. Okay. Miss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 6. Oh, I got 6 on there. Look at that. So 2 misses. 3 misses. So I had 3 misses. Okay, 1135 with 3 misses. Again, I'd be in the 12, I'd be in about the 14-second range with those misses. So it does kind of behoove you to shoot faster, even if you have a miss, because then you can just make it up. But you have to be able to call your shot early. So if you don't hear that audible ding, you know, if you're shooting steel, then you have to make a quick follow-up shot because obviously that wastes time. Now, 11:35, 3 misses, trying to shoot center. Okay, cool, I'll take it. Miss. You got 1 miss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 misses. Another 3 misses. So 3 misses. 3 misses is what we're looking at here. At 11, almost 12 seconds. Man, I don't know if there's really any difference between doing what I was saying I was going to do. To tell you the truth, I just don't know if there's any difference. Of course, the first 3 times that was my warm-up basically. So the sequence is definitely better. Okay, so for the tactical games, what they do is they allow you to get up there and get a sight picture. So the idea here is that I'll get a sight picture, and on my sight picture portion, I'll be able to measure from where I want my point of aim to be, right and up, let's say, and then I can make those dialing corrections on the scope. Then I get my firearm ready, and then I'll do a work, and then I'll get back up to the firearm and then have at it. So the idea here for the triangles, we already know what that's going to be. 0.8 right, 1.2 up. We already know that for those triangles. They're 3-inch triangles. We already confirmed that. So I'm going to do that one first, and then after that, then we'll go for the other ones, right? So I'll show you in a minute, but let me get it set up. So I know what I did wrong. I switched them. I'm supposed to go 0.8 up and 1.2 right. That's what I messed up on the bottom triangle. So this one I'm going to go 0.8 up and then go 1.2 to the right. And that's going to give me what I need for this type of drill. I'm going to go back to 0 on this because I'm going to do that top one first. So I'll do the top one first, and then I'll do the bottom. I'll do a 10 deadlift, just like I did last time. So 10 there, then 5 here, 10 there, then 5 here. It'll be the top triangle first, then the bottom triangle. So here we go. You're not going to be able to see me when I'm laying down shooting, but that's what I'll be doing. That's 4 out of 5. Five out of 5. So I got 9 out of 10. The top one, I pulled one. I know I pulled one. I could feel it. All right, so as you can see, I pulled this one. I was on the trigger, and I didn't want it to go off yet, but early discharge kind of a thing. But that's okay. 4, and then 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here, 10's here. So that is acceptable. That's great. So remember, on this one, it's point aim here, point impact high. And on this one, it's point aim here, point of impact right and up, which is where we wanted to go. So this tells me the Rod-On 7 Conquer is tracking exactly the way I want it to. Okay, so good job, Rod-On, good job. I'm gonna do something similar over here for these. I know it's upside down. I just put it on there. But anyway, So I'm gonna do something similar to these. Obviously, these are really odd shapes. I'll probably just do center for the circle, the left corner here for the triangle. Remember, it's, even though this is not like a equilateral triangle or whatever, I mean, I don't think it is. I think it's a little bit longer this way. Anyway, but you can see I can't come up as much, okay? So I'll have to come, obviously, right's gonna be about right, but then I'll have to come down probably a couple of clicks. And then for this one, same thing, right? And then this one, I'll probably have to just come straight from the bottom, or I can come from this corner here. So the idea here is to have a point of aim, and your point of impact is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna do the same thing over here for this one, okay? Which is too easy. They're the same size, they're the same shape, so that's too easy, okay? So that's what I'm gonna do on the next one. All right, guys, on this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 10 burpees, and then I've got 4 mags of 5. I got those shapes down there. You already saw them. So I'm gonna measure with my reticle real quick to see what I need to dial, okay? So if I aim at the left triangle there, I'm measuring with my, this is a first focal plane scope, mind you, so I can be on any power whatsoever and measure with my reticle how many mils I have to come right and up. And in this case, 0.8 right, 0.4 up. For the circle, I'll go back to 0. For the square, I'll bring my elevation back down to 0. And for the hexagon, I'll just leave it the same, okay? So I'm not gonna touch my windage after this. I'm only gonna touch my elevation. So 10 burpees, shoot, 10 more burpees, shoot, 10 more burpees, shoot, 10 more, so on and so forth. So let's see what happens here. It was basically 5 minutes. My glasses here just literally stopped at 5 minutes. So a couple observations. I did feel like I had a great solid aiming point on those odd shapes, let's call them. Now the circle, I didn't really feel like I had that aiming point. So this is what we got here. You can see 1, 2, 3 out of 5. 1, 2, 3. Did I even? I don't know if I had 4 or 5 in there. I don't think I would miss the whole damn thing, but all right. Well, there's 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll review the video, see how many shots I fired. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Nice group. And 1, 2, 3, 4 with 1 out. So 2 out here, 1 out here, maybe 1 out. But where would it go? I don't think I would be that far off. And then 5 here. So, like I said, I did feel like I had really good aiming points here, here, and here. Just I had to bring that over to the right a little bit. And in this one, I didn't have a good solid aiming point, but so I just have to continue practicing this. I think it's going to be beneficial. All right, this is going to be my last drill for today. We're going to stick with what we have here. 0, 0. So I'm going to point aim, point impact on those oblong rectangles on the top one. I'm going to time myself and see what I get with time and then with accuracy. Then I'm going to measure with my reticle, dial up and right, and I'm going to aim at the bottom left-hand portion of that rectangle. I'm going to see if there's any difference in my shot placement and also my spread. So that's the experiment here, okay? I think I'm gonna run this with the 75 grain as well. Same drill, just 75 grain. And could have been me just jerking the trigger. You can see, this is my point of aim. This was my point of impact with this one out. And I know I jerked that one. This one, point of aim was here. The point of impact, you know, they look similar, actually. They look really similar. So I don't know if it's any good or any better than just aiming, point of aim, point of impact. Let me do it with a 75 grain. All right, so I have my 75 grain loaded up. I have a new target up. I did not cover up the old target, so we can compare. 985 was my last score, time-wise, and then 1027 was the initial one. So 1027 on point aim, point impact, 985 on point aim, and the point impact was off the X, let's say. On this one, I'm going to go the opposite direction because I already have it dialed in. I'm actually going to come up one, and I'm going to come right one. So coming up one and right one. So basically 1 and 1. Almost. Well, it's going to be 1 and 0.9. Either way. Take you down range here. This is going to be it. This is going to be my last little going down range here. I know this is probably a long video, but it's something I was thinking about because I want to score really well in the tactical games. And I was trying to think of what I could do to give me an edge. It may or may not be worth it. I don't know, it's just something I have to explore. So if we look at the group here for all of them, this is definitely a tighter group than this is. So this is definitely a better group, and I think it's because I have that point of reference that I can aim at. Whereas this, there's no point of reference, right? So you hear the term, or the phrase, aim small, miss small, okay? Well, that's what this kind of means, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 10 here. Barely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 3 bareleys. This one I pulled. I do think I'll still get a 10 out of 10 if I didn't pull this one. I think it would be a 10 out of 10. I know that I pulled this one. But look at the groups, okay? So based off of having a point of aim, a point of reference to aim at, versus no point of reference, just aiming out in space somewhere, I think that there's something to be explored there. All right, guys, if you like the video, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the things in the YouTube universe, or Instagram or social media, so on and so forth. You get the picture. We really want to put out good content for you guys. I really put a lot of effort into this, so I'd appreciate it. Additionally, I do have some affiliate links below, and check those guys out, specifically Mantis Training Systems and Attorneys on Retainer. Check out.